Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. Just wanted to go over a few items from last week, from the week to come, or for the week to come, and then also over some of the quiz questions. So back in week 4, we were talking about segmentation, targeting, positioning, market informations and research, etc. So hopefully you got an idea of kind of some of the main concepts of STP, or segmentation, targeting, and positioning, but also a little bit of an overview of how we use market research and marketing information systems overall in the industry, and what we do there with that information. We also talked a little bit about social media marketing. This has obviously grown immensely over the past, I'm going to say, 5 years maybe, where we really have a good amount of marketing being done in the social media space, mainly because people spend so much time in the social media space. Other than watching TV or reading in a magazine or a newspaper, or driving down the road and seeing a billboard, or listening to the radio, something like that. Social media is probably the easiest way to reach people, and it's actually a fairly economical way to do some advertising as well. So that was all in our work for last week. We had our discussion about online surveys, and I think we probably all have had experience as being a participant in one of those types of surveys. So good things to look at there. And we also had the Mayo Clinic assignment and looking at the Mayo Clinic social media presence, and thinking about that in conjunction with the 4Ps and STP, etc. So look forward to that. Also, we obviously had our quiz as well. So week 5, we are actually going to be looking at product offerings and kind of the innovation channel or innovation pipeline, branding new offerings. How do we fit offerings within our current existing marketing life cycle, and understand how we add new things, how we take things away, and then looking at the overall product life cycle of how products, they kind of follow like a bell curve. They start out low, they can go up very high, they can go up quickly, they can go up slowly, but they'll get to a point where they'll peak and their popularity will start to drop again. And that's product life cycle is very easy to see in the retail world when you look at things like music, or video games, or computing devices, or anything like that. Go back 5 years and the iPhone 6 was probably the hottest thing. I'm just taking a guess as to what iPhone it was, and now you can't even buy one. So the product life cycle is very important to understand. It's not as extreme in healthcare as it is in some other industries like retail, but it is important to understand and to know. And sometimes we just need to innovate and tweak our product to have it restart that life cycle over again. So we have a flip grid. I think this is a really interesting one. An interesting Flipgrid discussion that we'll do this week about research studies have shown that patients, if we have patients in rooms with a lot of natural light, those patients, post-surgical patients, require less pain medication than patients that are in dark rooms or darker rooms. So how can a hospital use a study like that? And that is a real study. How can a hospital use a study like that to enhance their design or enhance their marketing? To patients, to physicians that may be operating at their facility, and to payers as well. So kind of an interesting one to look at. And then we have our quiz and our ed puzzle this week. And you're in luck, we don't have a written assignment this week. Holy cow. I'm glad for that. Grading is time consuming, so I'm glad for that. But certainly take the time this week to work on your final project that is going to be due in week 7. So that's our work for this week. Let's take a look at the quiz questions from last week that were most frequently missed. So first question, marketing intelligence data supplies results data from primary sources. So this is obviously true or false. The answer here is false. Marketing intelligence data gives us results data from primary and secondary sources. So it's not just a single source. That intelligence data is lots of information accumulated to give us kind of that overview of information that we can then use in our strategy. So our answer there was false. To be successful, marketing strategy must be built primarily on segmentation, and that is also false. To be successful, marketing strategy must be built on all aspects, S, T, and P. So strategy, targeting, and segmentation, targeting, and positioning will all feed into the strategy overall. So it's not just segmentation, although it has been noted that marketing to market segment is generally more effective than mass marketing. But it's really not just about segmentation. Sometimes you'll be doing targeting, sometimes you'll be doing positioning. So all three of those are very important, hence our answer false. Marketing manager's role is to ensure the organization has a strong marketing presence in the community. And that's not necessarily true. I mean, that is perhaps one of the things that they do, but the marketing presence in the community is actually the organization's presence in the community is really more of a PR function. But from a marketing perspective, the marketing manager has a very broad role. They are tasked with market research. They're tasked with understanding the product, understanding pricing, promoting it appropriately, etc. So it's much more broad than just ensuring that there's a strong marketing presence in the community. And sometimes that's not even what it's about at all. Sometimes the presence in the community comes not from marketing, but from public relations and from the good work that the organization is doing. That's the presence in the community. You don't need billboards and and social media ads to tell people that you're doing good work. True marketing activities, advertising activities come into play when you're looking to push a certain piece of information or a certain new product or function. You don't typically just see an ad for, come see us at this hospital. They tend to be very focused on a specific thing, maybe cancer care or stroke care or a concussion unit or something like that that's very specific. It's not just about having presence in the community. Typically, that positive PR presence that your organization may have in the community can help to drive patients to your facility as well. Focus groups are an expensive form of primary data collection, and this is false. It's actually a fairly cheap method of primary data collection, fairly economical, and can be a good way to gather data. A lot of market research is done via focus groups, and they're done somewhat differently now than they were in the past. I remember times when we would, obviously, I think all of you know, at this point we live in Orlando, but there were times when we used to visit down here, and we would go to Universal Studios for a day at the park or whatever on our vacation, and they were always soliciting focus groups to go in and look at different things. They were typically Universal television products, like look at this pilot, watch this thing, and you would you just happen to be someone that was in the park, and they would usually give you a $10 gift card, or maybe it was over lunchtime and you would get free lunch and a drink or whatever while you're there taking part in it. So it can be a very reasonably priced way to gather data from your constituents from whichever segment or targeted population that you might be looking at. So it is not expensive. It's actually fairly economical. And that is that. So let's hop back over the classroom. Hop back over the classroom quick. So I think that's about it. Any questions, let me know. Certainly take the time to to work on your final project this week. Like I said, it is due in week 7. And so if you have questions, issues as you're starting to work through, please let me know. Please review the feedback that when you submitted the topic before you just get to writing. Make sure that you review the feedback. As long as you completed the assignment appropriately, you got full credit. So don't assume that because you got full credit, I was totally on board with your idea. A lot of them I did give you kind of some ideas or some tweaks to how it might be more manageable for you. Some folks went very broad with their idea, which is great, but it makes a lot more work for you. So always trying to narrow down to a very focused idea. So I tried to give you some insight there. If you do have questions or want to fetter it out a little bit more with me, please just let me know. I'm happy to set up a time to chat, or we can talk via email and hope to fetter that out or help to fetter that out for you a little bit more. So other than that, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see everyone in the classroom this week. Thanks.